And this whole thing about Founders Day, I know previously it was celebrated on 21st September. That also happened to be the birthday of Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And then the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo proposed a legislation to Parliament that a new date be set for the celebration of Founders Day. And of course, the founders previously was Founder''S Day, to commemorate Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's independence for Ghana, and then his birthday. And then Nana Addo Akufo-Addo's proposition says we should have founders after the S, apostrophe after the S.
Plural founders.
Yeah, yes. To also celebrate the immense contribution of the others. Yes. The long fight to independence was a whole lot of work. Every Ghanaian, yes, he's our Kwame Nkrumah, he's my Kwame Nkrumah, he's your Kwame Nkrumah, everybody's Kwame Nkrumah. Every Ghanaian celebrates Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, I met some two Cameroonians some time ago, and they seemed not to know anything about Ghana until they had the opportunity to come and study at the National Insurance Commission at the time. Madam Lydia Lariba Bawa was the commissioner at the time. So I met this Cameroonian lady, and she said she didn't know anything about, she knew next to nothing about Ghana. Even when her dad asked her to come and study here, she knew next to nothing about Ghana, but then she knew about Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as leading us to the fight for freedom, for independence. You know, it wasn't just his fight. He was with other people. You know, the UGCC was formed on August 4th, 1947. The president made mention of it. Before that, we had the Aborigines, Gold Coast Aborigines Rights Protection, also formed by lawyer John Mensah Saba on August 4th, 1897. So the president is simply saying some other people also contributed to the fight. In fact, when you go into history, deep down into history, I don't want to maneuver. I don't want to, I don't want to digress. Yeah, but then I may have to chip that in. That Nnamdi Azikiwe actually recommended Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to the Big Five at the time. That he was good. He was a student in London at the time, and then they sent him money to come down. He came down and became the General Secretary of the UGCC. Until later, he formed the Young Pioneers Movement and went to form CPP. So it started from somewhere. There were people who were already fighting for the cause of independence before Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah came down to join the fight. He did immensely well. He contributed immensely, and then his contributions cannot be overlooked. In fact, in terms of
let's not lose the fact that he was brought on to contribute.
Okay.
Let's not lose the fact that he was brought on to lead the fight.
Yeah.
He was brought on to actually propel, because some characteristics were recognized by our history, of course, we were not there, about him, that he was a personality that was doing wonders in some land, but he is a blood of this land.
Exactly.
Bring him to come and champion. Yeah. So he was brought on, and then he championed it. Right. So it's not just as in everybody is, we're sitting around a table and everybody is saying something. Yeah. Somebody is taking charge of something. Yeah. Where I am at a loss is, at what point did the fight against independence started? Because if you were already trying to establish Ghana, and you brought on someone to come and lead the fight, and the person actually came and was pursuing that and thought that this was the right path for us to take, at what point did you decide to fight it or to oppose it?
So, at what point they decided to fight or oppose it? I don't think there was any point where anybody tried to oppose or fight and decide to fight the struggle for independence. The point we are trying to make, or Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, the president, is trying to make, is that in as much as Osadefo's efforts were immense and cannot be overlooked, we should also take the other people into consideration. In fact, when you look at our local currency, the paper notes, you see 6 people on the notes, notably the big 6. So Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah plus 5 other people who led to the struggle for independence. Yes, he led, and there were others who supported him. I always talk about this woman on the 50 pesewa notes. She is very much under-celebrated. Dede Ashikisha. She was one of the major financiers of Osadefo. Yeah. But how often do you hear of that woman? How often do we even talk about her? Yes, Osadefo championed the cause. Somebody financed it. Other people were behind him. They gave him the nod. They gave him the push. And then maybe he did the greater part of the work. But then we shouldn't overlook those who also helped with the fight. You know, a country that does not celebrate its heroes is not worth dying for. So, Anne, you sat here and then you spoke extensively about Angela Tebri. I was very proud of what you did. I was very happy. I felt very happy with him that you are celebrating a fellow woman. I was hearing of her for the first time, honestly, yes. And then you said you were calling on me to try to tell my people that there's an Angela Tebri somewhere. This government has instituted a STEM education so that we can have more Angela Tebris going forward. These days, we have girls who are venturing into TVET education or going into technical education because TVET education is free, and now they know they can also do something. So you do all these, and then later when Angela is seen, or Angela is given some national recognition, she's given an award, or she's given something. We can't talk about Angela. I wouldn't talk about Angela without mentioning your name, because it was through you I got to know Angela. Okay. I got to know there's an Angela Tebri somewhere. Louisa also confessed that she's hearing of Angela for the first time. I'm sure most of your viewers are hearing of her for the first time. So the point Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is trying to make is that, yes, Osagyefo championed the cause. He did very well. We are proud of him. In fact, I feel very proud as a Ghanaian, not because of just being a Ghanaian, because of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And even the fact that he linked Ghana's independence to the total emancipation of the African continent. He's known all over the place. He's known all over the world. I personally wish he had stayed a bit longer. I wish his government had not been overthrown so that he could actually champion the cause of the Pan-Africanism that he was doing. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I believe in his ideologies and all of that. So Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is saying that we had Obeche Bilante, we had Akwaje, we had William Oforiatta, we had J.B. Dankwa, and then we had the other one is Edward Akufo-Addo, his father. Why is it that these people are not given a mention on Founders Day? Why is it that it's all about Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? They need to be mentioned as well. They need to be celebrated as well.
So let's dwell in your simplicity in terms of the Angela Tebri situation. Yeah. So I mentioned her. You didn't know about her.
No, I didn't know about her.
It's a fantastic example. Ghanaians didn't know about Nkrumah. Now these men mentioned him and they brought him on board.
Right? Even a Nigerian.
Right. So Angela Tebri has been mentioned now. I mentioned her.
Yeah.
If Angela Tebri comes on board and is engaged and is now put in a situation where she has to lead, say, a masses of students or youth or women to champion math, science, whatever, and she is successful and she is awarded, then I'm now in some corner crying that why are you not mentioning my name? That's exactly what's happening. I mean, yes, at some point, if someone is telling this story, I will be mentioned, you know, somewhere. But I am not Angela Tebri. Yes, I mentioned her, but I didn't do what she had to do something even for me to recognize her.
Exactly.
You understand? So that is where we are lost. I mean, it is just as simple as that. If we want to even talk about founders of Ghana, way before Nkrumah came, there was the Ghana Empire. Yeah. We have all the list of the leaders. We can mention all of them. Yeah, people have been pursuing because, well, the land was discovered at some point. People fought for the land and all that. Then we have to mention everybody. But at the point where Ghana gained independence, there can only be one leader.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, there can only be one leader.
And you see, unfortunately, no matter how you want to, clear the argument or clear the air, a lot of things have been done that is pointing to the fact that why are you trying to, remove this man from the picture?
You're coming, Nkrumah.
Sort of. You are changing dates. You are, making comments.
As for the dates, I would like to comment. I would like to comment.
He made it twice. I'm sure you've seen them. We played the videos here twice. Yes, I have seen it. It's not an accident.
Maybe he is anti-Nkrumahist. He is not an Nkrumahist. You know, not everybody at the time was Nkrumahist. Not everybody believed in the ideologies of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. However, he was a leader to our fight for independence. In our fight for independence, he led it. So it was something like, if you can't beat them, join them. Even if you don't agree with him, he's championed the cause of independence for Ghana. Yeah. And if not for anything at all, Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African country to win independence. Right. Anytime I meet my Nigerian friends, in terms of their size, their population and everything, we'll argue why and I'll reduce them to that thing. Yes, we won independence before you. And it really gets to them, you understand. So look at the case of Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nigerians hold Nnamdi Azikiwe in high esteem. However, I had this auntie who is a Nigerian by marriage, by my mother's line, and she comes to Ghana from time to time. Occasionally she comes. And about 20 years ago, there was this little girl that she used to come with, Anna. So you ask Anna to mention the founding fathers of Nigeria, or tell you about the history of Nigeria, how they won independence. So Anna will start by mentioning Nnamdi Azikiwe. And then she'll come down to mention Obafemi Awolowo, say Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, Folorin Shaw, Ransom Kuti, Murtala Mohammed, all of those people. And then she'll tell you Nnamdi Azikiwe led or championed the cause of Nigeria's independence. However, she can't talk about Nnamdi Azikiwe without mentioning all of these people I've mentioned. So the point Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president, is trying to make is that, yes, we celebrate Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And, you know, in March 2019, the Public Holidays Amendments Bill was passed. And then this 4th August was instituted. But then 21st September still remains since 21st September. It's still a holiday, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so we still celebrate Osajifo, and then remember him on his birthday, celebrate his birthday, and then we do the things that we used to do. We haven't stopped anything. We've instituted 4th August, or the president proposed a legislation to institute 4th August because he wanted others to also be celebrated. That was the only thing we did differently. However, the 21st September still stays. It still remains. We still celebrate Osajifo on that day. Nobody can take that from him. His immense contribution towards independence, everything that he did to bring Ghana where we are now, is still celebrated. We are just including other people who also helped. And I will use your platform to propose that Deda Ashikisha be given a special place in the celebration. Yes, her head is on the 50 peso note. I don't think it's enough because most Ghanaians, especially the young ones who are coming up, do not know anything about that woman. She lost her life in the course of fight for independence, and I learned she was one of the major financiers for Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So, yes, he did most of the work, but he also received help from other people. So those people need to be given a mention as well. And I'm sure if their contribution wasn't really significant, or it didn't really matter that we don't talk about them, they wouldn't have their heads on the notes on our legal tender as well, our notes as well. So it's not far-fetched for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to say that, to propose that we have a new date, which has come to stay, which has come into being, to celebrate other people who also helped. We all learned about the Big Six, and didn't you learn about the Big Six? Louisa did same, I did same. Yes, it means their contribution were immense as well. That is why we got to learn about them.
Not been dejected
or of course, they've not.
That's why we learned about them.
Yes, they've not been dejected or forgotten. You see on the note, Osajifo's head is bigger than every other person's head. It tells you something.
But they're not safe. You are taking this note out of the system. That's what we are told. That's what we heard.
I'm not aware. They are taking this note out of the system so that they have one for Osajifo alone.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know about that yet? Okay.
I don't know.
So Anne, I don't think it's really a problem. I am for it. I am happy. In fact, I had that reservation even before the new date was instituted. That those other ones were under-celebrated. They were, you know, they were kept behind something. They were covered. You didn't really hear. I know people from other countries who don't really know much about the Big Five. The five in addition to Osajifo that makes up the Big Six, and it's not fair. It's just the right thing to do. It's just fair that they are also celebrated, given a special place on Founders Day, so that their names will be heard and then be mentioned as well, so that the upcoming Ghanaians, the younger ones, will know that the fight was, yes, Osajifo championed the cause, but the fight wasn't won by him alone. There were other people who also contributed their quota one way or the other.